Diddy just broke down in court, and it's all because of some explosive footage that has surfaced. And let me tell you, this isn't just any footage. What was caught on camera could change everything for Diddy and his entire empire. So, what's really going on? According to inside sources, this newly surfaced video allegedly shows Diddy in situations that are raising serious legal and ethical questions. And when this footage was presented in court, it was so intense that even Diddy, who's known for keeping his cool, couldn't hold it together.
There is a huge mystery in the Diddy prosecution, and it all revolves around the 2016 tape video that was shot at the Intercontinental Hotel. So when we last spoke to you, which was yesterday, we told you that there was a letter filed, a joint letter between the prosecution and the defense in the upcoming Diddy trial, the prosecution. And in that letter, there is reference made by the defense claiming that CNN destroyed the only known version of that tape, destroyed it after allegedly editing it and taking parts of it out of sequence. That they did that, aired it, and then destroyed it. That was according to this letter.
And we were baffled, as
and by the way,
the rest of the world
the
was.
consequence of that is, if that were true, and if there isn't another original version, and this is the edited version,
it could make it difficult for it to be admissible in court.
Absolutely.
And that completely changes the complexion of this prosecution against him.
Yep.
So, this is where the mystery comes in.
Witnesses say he visibly broke down, and those close to the situation claim he knows just how damaging this evidence could be. According to insider sources, the footage was obtained by investigators and shows Diddy engaging in behavior that directly ties him to the allegations against him. The video, which was played in court earlier today, reportedly captures Diddy in a series of disturbing interactions that align with the claims made by his accusers. As the footage played, Diddy was seen visibly shaken, and moments later, he broke down in tears, unable to contain his emotions.
We broke that story. CNN got back to us, and this is what they had to say in response. CNN never altered the video and did not destroy the original copy of the footage, which was retained by the source. CNN aired the story about the video several months before Combs was arrested.
Okay, so they are flatly denying, but we're going to get into the exact words they used in a minute. So hours later, Diddy's defense team doubled down, and here's what they said.
They said, our written and oral communications with CNN's counsel were clear. They destroyed the original video file they received from their source.
Okay, so you're looking at this saying, somebody's lying, somebody's telling the truth. I think you could say, not so, but there's another version of this. So when you look at all of the evidence, CNN acknowledges they got this video from a source.
Right.
And presumably it's somebody who worked at the Intercontinental Hotel, which no longer exists. It's been changed.
Right,
now they have new
hands.
So there's no anything with the Intercontinental anymore. So somebody at that hotel presumably took that surveillance video, took the hard drive,
kept it for several years.
The judge was forced to call a recess to restore order, but the damage may already be done. Reports suggest that the footage includes scenes from Diddy's infamous private parties, events that have been whispered about for years. And here's where it gets wild. Allegedly, this video shows more than just partying. Insiders claim it may reveal illegal activities, including moments that could connect Diddy to ongoing investigations into misconduct and abuse.
A copy to give to CNN. Go back to the CNN quote. Look at this.
The central part
CNN never altered the video and did not destroy the original copy of the footage, which was retained by the source.
So what they're saying, the original copy of the footage, their source, whoever their source is, that person
still has it.
Still has the original copy.
But the problem is this.
So of course they didn't destroy that because the source has it.
They never got it.
Right. They don't have it in their possession to destroy.
They got a copy of the original copy. They got a copy of the original copy.
Copy.
So the question is, did they destroy the copy? because the statement, just
from,
refers to what the source kept.
And what you just said, did they destroy the copy that they have? If you go back to the quote from Diddy's attorneys, that is what they are saying. They destroyed the original video file they received from their source.
Which is the copy of the copy.
Exactly.
Which is the copy of the copy.
I wish they didn't use the word original there.
Right, but
because it throws things off. But anyway.
We've been trying to get in touch with CNN about this to find out if they destroyed the copy of the copy, which they had. We have not heard back from them yet. They referred us back to the original statement, but...
Social media has exploded with reactions to the news, with hashtags like Diddy Court Breakdown and explosive footage trending worldwide. Fans of the music mogul are expressing shock and disbelief, while critics are calling the footage a smoking gun that could finally bring justice to his accusers. The revelations have reignited debates about Diddy's innocence or guilt, with many questioning how this new evidence will impact the outcome of the case.
Bombshell allegations from Diddy's defense team. The music mogul's lawyers are alleging that this video showing Diddy physically assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura was altered and then the original copy destroyed. In a joint letter to the judge, Sean Diddy Combs' defense team says that they subpoenaed that video from CNN, and then the news organization provided copies of the footage to the defense. The original video was originally distributed in packaged form.
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video.
And so what you saw there was just a little snippet of that packaged report that CNN aired on the video. Combs' lawyers are claiming, and we're directly quoting here, quote, that all CNN video footage was substantially altered in significant respects. This includes covering the timestamp and then changing the video sequence. It also includes speeding up the video to make it falsely appear that the actions in the video are taking place faster than they are.
Memes, tweets, and videos are flooding the internet as people dissect every second of the leaked footage and speculate about what it means for Diddy's future. And get this, some sources are saying that the footage could involve high-profile celebrities who've been a part of Diddy's inner circle for years. There's speculation that some of these individuals could also face legal consequences if the footage is authenticated and used as evidence in the courtroom. Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded.
Investigation. It's important to note that CNN is denying these claims made by the Diddy defense team. Our team has reached out to CNN, but we have not yet heard back. We'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, both sides on the Diddy case are going to be in New York in that federal courtroom today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Surely this is going to come up. And what does it do for Diddy's case overall? Let's talk about the trial. I want to bring in our legal eagles now with me, Ves Mitev, David Bruno, and Jennifer Brandt. I want to go around the room and ask you all how this is going to affect the prosecution. I want to start with my prosecutor, my former prosecutor, I should say, his defense attorney now, David Bruno. What do you say, please?
Yeah, sure. What the defense is trying to do is keep this out of that trial. I mean, it is damaging. Obviously, we've all seen the video of the violence, and it really does corroborate a lot of the pressure, force, coercion that's required in the indictment itself. So what the defense is saying is this is...
Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was arrested and charged earlier this year following a series of allegations that have rocked the music industry. The charges range from workplace harassment to more serious claims of abuse, and the case has been one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory. Diddy has consistently denied the allegations, calling them false and defamatory. But the explosive footage has cast serious doubt on his claims,
I mean, that's as specific as it comes as to what they did, how they did it, and when they did it. So it will be interesting to see. Just final point, Cassie could still testify about it. Diddy also gave a statement after, apologizing about it. So even if the video's out, the prosecutor could still admit it other ways.
Exactly. David, thank you for that. We've got that statement from Diddy. Let's roll the tape of that, please.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
Okay, Jennifer Brandt, let me go to you next, please. Your thoughts about how problematic this is.
Well, I mean, I agree with David. The defense has been trying to keep this out for quite some time. So this is not the first attempt to do it, but it might be successful because we have to see, was the video altered? Is there an original copy? It's hard to believe that there wouldn't be. And CNN is denying these claims. So
what's even more disturbing is that this leaked footage reportedly aligns with testimonies from former staff members who've accused Diddy of orchestrating wild, no-limits parties where anything goes. And now, with video evidence surfacing, those accusations are looking a lot more credible. The footage, which was reportedly obtained through a combination of legal discovery and private investigations, shows Diddy in situations that directly contradict his public image. In one particularly chilling segment, Diddy is seen engaging in behavior that aligns with the accusations made against him.
His hair was a lot whiter. Now, remember, the last time I was inside one of Diddy's hearings, that was back in December. We're in March, so that's just a 3-month time span of just that intense grayness. So either him being at MDC Brooklyn for this amount of time is weighing on him, this federal case is weighing on him, maybe even his fall from grace entirely is probably weighing on him, but he just looked visibly different. I will say, though, last time he appeared thinner. This time it seems like he did kind of pack on a little bit of pounds, and I don't say that in a disrespectful way at all, but he did seem to kind of put his weight back up from the last time that I saw him. But it really was just kind of a stark difference. Now, he was graying a little bit in the last hearing, that is no doubt, so it wasn't too big of a jump. But again, a lot of us who were sitting in the gallery, a lot of the reporters were just kind of like, whoa, because of just how astonishingly grayer he appeared during that time. Now, as far as who was inside that courtroom, it was, as far as his family goes, a lot smaller of a group than we've seen before. We've seen times where all of his kids, maybe with the exception of his now 2-year-old daughter, being inside that courtroom, putting up a united front. But again, this was kind of a smaller group this time. It was only Diddy's daughter, Jessie Combs, and it was Diddy's son, Christian Combs, also known as King, as well as Diddy's mother, Janice Combs. So, of course, when Diddy comes into the courtroom, that's the first thing he's looking out for, is that he's going to be looking out for his family. He's going to be waving to them, you know, kind of mouthing I love you and all of that sort. And that's what happened as well as when he was leaving, too. I even saw him kind of mouth hi, mommy, to his own mother. But, you know,
The video also reveals a side of Diddy that the public has never seen before. One that contradicts his carefully crafted image as a successful businessman and philanthropist. Legal experts are calling the footage a game changer, suggesting that it could lead to a conviction if admitted in court. The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the footage, but the damage to Diddy's public image may already be irreversible. When the footage played in court, insiders say the entire room was left in shock.
scheduling. It might have just been the fact that this wasn't going to be a big hearing necessarily, but also we didn't know what we could really expect from it. But, you know, it was just kind of different as far as what we've seen before, where they take up an entire row in the gallery, to just being in a small little corner there. But it appeared that Diddy was just happy to see him, happy to see his family, happy to have support in there in the courtroom. And as far as even just at the defense table too, another noticeable difference that I thought to myself was just the fact that Anthony Rico was no longer there. Again, he filed a letter kind of saying that he can't be on the case anymore, and that was just a few weeks ago. And so that to me was kind of a stark difference from last hearing to this hearing.
The defense attorneys basically said there's no way I can continue. Not entirely sure what that even meant. By the way, it was interesting when you mentioned his appearance. It could be the stress. It could also be, and I have no way to confirm this, he doesn't have access to the same kind of beauty regimen as he might have had on the outside, and whether that meant dyeing his hair or whatnot. I mean, he's not the youngest guy, so it's something I thought about. Okay, so I want to now get into the substance of this hearing. a big part of this hearing was regarding the CNN tape. The tape of Sean Combs purportedly beating Cassandra Ventura, who by all accounts appears to be one of the key victims in this case, victim number one to be more specific in this case, that there was this allegation.
The prosecutor's team wasted no time emphasizing how damaging this evidence could be, suggesting it reveals a pattern of behavior that can no longer be ignored. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Diddy has faced accusations, but this new video could be the most damning evidence yet. Friends and associates of Diddy have been quick to defend him, calling the footage fabricated and taken out of context.
And like you had mentioned, Jesse, a key piece of evidence, and that's what the government was trying to argue there, that it is critical to their case to have this video admitted. Now, I will preface it and say this. The judge made no type of ruling on it, but he did kind of make a big suggestion. So before I get into that, let me just say the defense argues, and they kind of outlined this in their letter, that they believe that the video is deceptive. They have a forensic examiner who says that they put the video into editing software, and that CNN put the video into editing software, but that the times were changed, the sequence was changed, they covered up the timestamp. But let's face it, Jesse, we all saw that video. Whether or not CNN did allegedly speed up this video, or whether or not that they kind of framed different pieces and different sequences, it never takes your eyes kind of away from the fact, or that we saw with our own eyes, Diddy gruesomely beating up Cassie Ventura. It was terrible. It was really shocking. And, you know, we say it's shocking a lot, but I mean, I just remember watching that video because it did play on a loop on CNN that day, and it was just terrible to watch. And we all saw Diddy kind of make that apology video afterwards. So for them to kind of have this argument about the CNN video in the first place, about it being altered, all of that sort, well, their client already admitted to doing what he did. But again, we still have to kind of put out allegedly here and there. But as far as the government,
they insist that Diddy is the victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish his reputation and legacy. However, others close to the case suggest that the footage is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome. The emotional toll on Diddy was evident as he sat in court, visibly shaken by the revelations. One witness described him as pale and trembling, a far cry from the confident and charismatic figure the world is used to seeing.
Have to put a motion in place to kind of suppress that video from a jury ever seeing it, but you kind of can't help but think, did a juror already see it? Did a potential juror already see it? So this was the judge's recommendation. They wanted to see if there was a way, maybe the defense and the government, who they kind of seem that they are working things out kind of outside of the hearings, outside of the court, but they were seeing if there was a way for the defense to kind of place together the video and the way that they believe originally happened, and see what the government says about that. Now, if they can't come to a decision from both sides, then that's when the judge will step in, then that's when the motions will be filed, and then that'll be taken up at another hearing. But it seems from the government side of everything that this piece of evidence is going to be critical to their case. I mean, even taking a step back to just last year, a lot of people did not believe Diddy's alleged victims, whether it be in the lawsuits or anything like that, until that video came out, until they saw with their own eyes just Diddy putting his hands on Cassie Ventura. And again, this was back in 2016, but just even thinking from her standpoint, seeing that video on a loop, knowing that it's been released to the public, yes, justice there in the sense that people now believe her or may believe her, but at the same time, when we saw that video, just shocking, just astonishing, but it seems like this will be...
And here's the kicker. There are rumors circulating that this footage isn't the only piece of evidence prosecutors have. Some say there are more videos and audio recordings that could be released in the coming weeks, each one more incriminating than the last. If that's true, Diddy's legal problems are only just beginning. This isn't just a story about Diddy. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in the entertainment industry.
Evidence of sex trafficking, and as I mentioned before, the prosecution would come back and counter that and say, well, where was she running away from? She was running away from a room where there might have been a sex worker in that room, and this is further allegation of an illegal sex act or freak-offs or things of that nature. Now, I want to move on to something else. the names of people in this case. Another big theme that came out during the course of this hearing is regarding identities and names. And you and I both know, Elizabeth, this is something that has been litigated between the prosecution and the defense quite a lot leading up to this hearing. And there is terms about enterprise letters, about the prosecution putting in sealed letters about more specific examples of what is racketeering, what are the dates, what are the names, what are the places. The idea of names of people in this case, are they referring to witnesses? Are they referring to alleged victims? What happened today regarding the identities of people in this case and whether or not the defense will know who the prosecution plans to call?
And this is also an interesting part in the hearing, Jesse, as well, too, is that it seems like they were kind of talking, in legalese in particular, but also because a lot of that information was sealed. And the defense kind of made it clear because at one point when the government was making their stance on it, Alexandra Shapiro stepped up and said, hey, Judge, this is under seal. Obviously, she didn't say that verbatim, but she kind of made it clear to the judge that she was cautious about just kind of revealing everything about the particular enterprise letter. But one thing that the government...
The explosive footage has sparked important conversations about how celebrities are held accountable for their actions and whether the legal system is equipped to uncover the truth. Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that Diddy's situation is a consequence of his alleged actions. The case has also raised questions about the role of privilege and influence in the justice system, with many wondering whether Diddy's wealth and status have shielded him from accountability for too long.
Talk often when we're covering Diddy's stories just about the power that he had either over the industry, over his employees, over alleged victims that he had, former girlfriends, all of that stuff. But the government did make it clear because, they couldn't get into much details about that particular part because some aspects of it, from my understanding, were under seal. But one thing the government did make clear is that some of these witnesses don't want their names released out into the public. So they are going to kind of come up with a solution. From my understanding, it's that the government will turn over that list over to the defense. But you can imagine how fearful some of Diddy's not potential employees, but how some of the people who had worked under Diddy, whether it be for years, whether it be for a few months, could be knowing that they could potentially testify more into what was going on, as the government puts it, in the Combs enterprise.
And then the final point I want to mention and get some clarification on are timelines. I'm still shocked that this trial is going to happen by May 5th, 2025. It's only a few months away. And the idea about pretrial conference, jury questionnaire, jury selection, a motion schedule, it seemed to me that the defense got a win today in what they wanted for a schedule. Talk to us about what we can expect, some key moments coming up leading up.
And social media is already on fire with this story. People are dissecting every frame of the leaked footage, trying to figure out exactly what it reveals. Some fans are in disbelief, while others are saying they've been suspicious of Diddy's lifestyle for years. And this just confirms their worst fears. But here's where things get even crazier. Some reports suggest that the footage may also connect to other high-profile names, including former protégés like Usher and even Justin Bieber.
That's a lot of people, but it seems like they want everything to kind of move at a quick pace. But to your point, Jesse, it did seem like the defense did get a win, because one thing as well, too, is that the defense wants these jurors to be sequestered when they're doing the questionnaire. So they want to be able to speak to these jurors one-on-one. They don't want it in an open room or anything like that. And the judge approved that. So that's kind of a peek of what we'll be looking like, or what it'll be looking like come trial. So it looks like that it looks like jury selection is going to begin a little bit before May 5th. Now, we all thought May 5th was going to be the date that it started. We all thought potentially opening statements could be on May 5th, but it looks like it's being pushed back a week just because they're anticipating so many jurors to kind of come through that courthouse, whether or not to be selected for the upcoming trial. But it just seems that the defense kind of did get a win in pushing everything back just a little bit. But again, this is a big, high-profile case. They want to make sure all their ducks are in a row. They want want to make sure they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's. And so while we can't expect opening statements to be pushed back just a little bit, just about a week or so, what we can expect from those jurors is for them to kind of, again, 300 people every day up until they select the men and women who are going to be a part of that jury. But again, going to be sequestered while each side kind of gets to ask them these particular questions, and they're going to be filling out that juror questionnaire, something that the government didn't necessarily want, but it seems like that's going to be the idea moving forward.
I mean, that's the hope. They have an idea about how long jury selection is going to be. This is a very high profile.
There are wild theories circulating that these videos could reveal a darker side of the music industry, one that's been hidden in plain sight for years. And if this evidence continues to leak, we could be witnessing the downfall of not just Diddy, but an entire network of power players. The leaked footage has also had a profound impact on Diddy's family and close associates. Sources close to the Combs family reveal that they've been left reeling by the revelations, with some struggling to reconcile the man they know with the person seen in the footage.
Making headlines. Per NBC News, the music mogul entered the legal proceeding with gray hair and a gray beard, a notable difference from how he looked prior to his September 2024 arrest. Also on hand were members of Combs' family, including his mother Janice and 2 of his kids. As for why Combs was in court, during the arraignment, prosecutors unsealed a superseding indictment against the rap mogul, accusing him of forcing employees to work long hours and threatening them with retaliation. Combs pleaded not guilty to the allegations. The March 6th indictment obtained by NBC News did not add any new charges for Combs, who previously pleaded not guilty to federal charges related to racketeering, prostitution, and sex trafficking after his September arrest, but did detail what prosecutors described as, quote, forced labor at the hands of the rapper in connection with racketeering conspiracy. E! News has reached out to Combs' legal team and has not yet heard back. Prosecutors argued in the filing that Combs maintained control over employees whom he forced.
Diddy's children, who have largely remained silent throughout the legal battle, are said to be devastated by the latest developments. One insider described the family as heartbroken and in shock, adding that they're doing their best to support Diddy during this difficult time. And there's more. Allegedly, there are specific clips where Diddy is heard giving direct orders. Insiders claim these recordings show Diddy controlling the environment, deciding who gets in and who doesn't, and even hinting at deeper, more sinister activities.
Through use of, among other things, physical force, psychological harm, financial harm, and reputational harm and/or threats of the same. The document, which replaces the previously filed indictment to include more information regarding the case, said that Combs' alleged tactics caused these employees to believe they would be harmed, including losing their jobs if they did not comply. In one allegation laid out in the filing, Combs forced an employee to engage in sex acts with him by using the previously mentioned tactics. The documents also allege he would use those same threats if an employee witnessed him abusing victims, according to the indictment. The 55-year-old was also accused of throwing objects and people, as well as hitting, dragging, choking, and shoving others, including dangling one alleged victim over an apartment balcony. Following the filing, Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, emphasized that his client vehemently denies the accusations in the indictment. He further told NBC News that many of his client's former employees actually stand by his side, preparing to attest to the dedication, hard work.
This could explain why the courtroom reacted so strongly. These aren't just allegations anymore. There's actual proof backing them up. Legal experts are already weighing in, and many agree that if this video holds up in court, Diddy could be facing serious legal consequences, potentially even jail time. And if there's more evidence waiting in the wings, it could trigger a wave of investigations that rock the entertainment industry to its core. And check this out.
Courtroom in just about an hour from now for a pre-trial hearing. Combs is facing new allegations, including threatening employees who did not help him carry out his alleged sex trafficking scheme that prosecutors say ran on for 2 decades. CBS News reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman is covering today's hearing. Katrina, thank you for joining us. You're outside the New York City District Court. This new indictment adds no new charges, so why is Combs being asked to enter a plea today?
While there are no new charges, there are new allegations here, and that is what he will be pleading to. So as you mentioned, there's allegations of forced labor, that he forced employees to work long hours, threatened them if they didn't help with his alleged sex trafficking scheme. The new indictment also has 2 new victims added. Originally, there was only 1 cited in the first indictment. Now there are 2 more women who they allege Combs coerced into sex acts.
Another shocking claim is that Diddy's name isn't the only one in the spotlight. Some insiders suggest that Usher, who has long been connected to Diddy, may also be called to testify. And there's even speculation that Usher's own experiences during his younger years could come to light. If that happens, it could be a devastating blow to both their careers. As we wait for the next chapter in this unfolding drama, one thing is clear. This is a story that will have far-reaching consequences.
Charges, and the prosecution has expanded the timeline of the racketeering conspiracy that they're accusing Combs of. Initially, it went back to 2008, and now it extends back to 2004, so they're broadening that window.
And Katrina, today's hearing is also expected to discuss jury selection. So I can imagine there's a lot of challenges that the prosecution and the defense are facing in seating a jury in such a high-profile case. I mean, everybody knows who this guy is.
Anytime you have a high-profile defendant like Sean Combs, the real concern here is jury bias, and that's a concern from both sides. In papers that were filed, the defense is already saying that they think there's been what they call an extraordinary amount of pretrial publicity that would prejudice people in favor of the government's case. So what we're expecting to hear a lot of talk about today is the jury selection process in this case. The defense wants to have 2 different groups of 300 people brought into the court, fill out extensive questionnaires, and
Whether you're a fan of Diddy or a critic of his alleged actions, there's no denying that this case is a watershed moment for the entertainment industry. It's a reminder that no one is above the law, and that the truth has a way of coming to light, no matter how powerful the person involved may be. And here's the big question. Who leaked the footage in the first place? Some are speculating that a former associate, maybe even someone from Diddy's inner circle, decided to blow the whistle. And if that's true, what else might they have?
Outpouring of support. We've seen that they've gone on social media. We've seen that they've issued statements in support. And of course, every one of those children is a potential witness by the prosecution. And that's the risk you take when you're trying the case, both in the court of public opinion and in the courtroom, that you can be subpoenaed to testify at any time and on the stand something as innocuous as a throwaway comment or as an Instagram post or a hashtag. When you're confronted with it, you know, in the very cold, lonely space in the witness box, in front of 12 silent jurors in a hushed courtroom, it takes on a whole different persona. And of course, that's the danger with making statements, extrajudicial and otherwise. So if it were me, I would be telling these children not to say anything except through their lawyers, just to say that to let the process run its course and that they stand by their father, which is really the only thing they can say.
Right, very well said. Ves Mitev, appreciate your time, appreciate you coming on with us this morning. We'll look forward to having you back soon. I know we have to let you go. And my friends at home, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a live report on Diddy's hearing today. We'll have a live report from New York from one of our Script News sister stations reporters who's going to be in the courtroom. And perhaps we'll see what children of Diddy show up to support him today. Jennifer Brandt, David Bruno, you're both coming with us. I want you to come with us at home, too. Here's what's coming up next this Friday morning on Opening Statements.
Precious little girl, and
The thought alone is enough to send shockwaves through the entire industry. And let's not forget, the public's perception is shifting fast. Once admired for his business savvy and musical empire, Diddy's brand is now under siege. Sponsors are reportedly reconsidering their partnerships, and the entertainment industry is distancing itself as the legal battle intensifies. With every new leak, Diddy's future grows more uncertain. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Diddy? Could more shocking evidence be on the way? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on because you do not want to miss the next twist in this jaw-dropping case. We'll be here to keep you updated every step of the way.